Hello, Sourcecast listeners. This is CatWhoHas14Tails, and I know I'm far overdue with this, but upcoming on this episode, you will hear my interviews with CatWhoHas14Tails, ZukotheCat, MantisBoy9090, and Redwolf03. Enjoy! First of all, Cat, you've been a member on the site since late 2005, so you're one of the longest-lasting members who's been a regular on the site. How does it feel to be here that long?
Alright, I guess. I don't really feel anything about it. I don't really see it as a great accomplishment or a disappointment in my life.
Okay. According to your profile, I'm not sure how accurate this really is, you have 145 drawings, 165 images, 21 fanfics, 23 music videos, and I'm not even going to try to count all of the characters you have.
About 500.
Literally?
No, I actually don't know. It's hard to keep track after a while.
Well, let's start at the bottom of your page then. Of all the characters you have, what's your favorite character?
Let's see. Well, probably... it's probably cliche to say Kiona, but she's like the most developed, because out of all of them, she's had a birth, a life, and a death, and the rest of them are just kind of unfinished. I like Aramis too, just because he's underrated, and he's like one of the only tripeds on the site who died of a brain tumor. He just has an interesting design and good character development, if I do say so.
Might I ask, why so many characters?
I have a lot of characters simply because there's a few reasons. I never want to, leave a character with no history or rhyme or reason. They always have to have something. They can't just be there. Something has to happen that brings them there, why they're there, maybe who their parents are if they're important enough.
Okay.
So I have so many characters because, any of the main characters are there, there's a reason why everyone else is there, too. Okay. Do all of your characters have to do with other stuff that you do, or do you just create some characters for the sake of having their own character page? It's a little both. Like a lot of main characters I have, they're kind of based off, people I know or real-life situations that I know of. Not that I've personally experienced most of these, but they're kind of there and they make for interesting stories, and I kind of wanted to spice up some of the website's characters, because I did think that a lot of them were, really boring, and I wanted to just kind of add something to it, make it a little more dramatic. So some people don't really like that for some reason. It proves that, well, it proved to me that people really like drama, so the more dramatic the character, the more interesting they are, but some of them were just kind of made up on the spot, and a lot of them, more so, they were planned out. Only a few are, spontaneous. So, I don't have time to go through all your characters. Are all of them based off of dogs or canines? Are there some that are like humans or literal cats? Cat. Well, no literal cat characters, but I have there's a lot of human characters featured in my fanfics, but I never really had the urge to, make human character pages, because no one would really pay attention to them anyway. Though one of my human characters, Erin, she's on there, but most of them are contrived of, there's, a mixture of dogs and wolves on there. But I have a couple of bears, Sparkle Nut, African wild dogs. So there's some mixture in there, but not a lot. But that's simply because most of them are related to Balto. I guess that's all questions I have for your characters. Let's move on to the next thing up. Music videos. You have quite a few, it looks like. I take it... Yeah, I haven't actually seen any of them, but I probably will sometime. Are they all actual videos, or are they slideshows? They are videos. There's one video on there that's a slideshow, but that's because, like, I had no access to a Balto 2, like, ever. But for its purpose, it made it funnier. Yeah, most of them are, like, actually pulled from the movies.
Okay. Then I take it you just ripped the movies to your computer and...
I ripped them, and I borrowed some scenes from other people, if I didn't have them, so...
Okay. Music in the background, man, maybe I should have watched one or two of these, but are they songs that you've created yourself, or are they popular songs, or...
I didn't make any of the songs. Like, I'm not really gifted in the music area. Some of them aren't really known. Like, a couple of remixes, some are, like, from anime, and some are from popular songs. But usually some have something to do with the movie.
Okay.
Like, at the time while I was making these things, I felt like if you're gonna make a music video, the song should have to do with the movie.
Do you plan these ahead of time, or do you just make it up on the spot?
The music videos?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're spontaneous, or I'll hear a song and I'll be like, oh, that would go perfect with this movie. Like, they're not always Balto related, but I don't really make music videos anymore, so I'd be making them for different reasons right now if I had the technology. But at the time, I usually did plan it, or if I just kind of randomly thought of it, I would do it, but it takes time.
Okay. How long have you been making videos?
Maybe the first couple years I was on Balto Source, but I just kind of got fed up with the music video program, and I just kind of stopped making them for that reason. Just like a couple years.
Okay. Okay, moving right on up to fanfics. The most faved gallery on the site. How did you manage that with just 23 stories? I think some of these are just poems. No, they're all stories.
They're all stories. People just really liked the characters, and they wanted to know what happens to them.
Plus, you've been here for a while, I guess that helps too.
Yeah, I have been here for a while, but I haven't posted, like, anything in a long, long time.
Let's see, sent your last fanfic, the Staffordshire.
That one's not really a fanfic. It was just a short story for a college class I was taking.
Okay, well, that was sent April 24, 2009, and milk.
Yeah, people like talking about that one.
Let's see. You wrote a fic with Beauty Jenna that was sent to the site on December 18, 2008. Her Jealousy.
Yeah, Her Jealousy, that was it.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What was it like to collab and write a story?
It's good with some people. With Beauty Jenna, like, she's an awesome person, even though I haven't seen her in, like, years. But, like, she's really nice, but, you know, she lived on the other side of the world, so it kind of made it difficult to, like, you know, make time to write the story, give it to the other person, and all that good stuff. But I've collaborated with Draco on a couple of fanfics, and that made things a little easier because she lives in the U.S. like me, so time zones work out better.
Wait, Beauty Jenna isn't in the U.S.?
No, she's in Europe somewhere.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway.
Yep.
It looks like your most recent original, non-collab, non-edited, non-Balto related fanfic was Yield in the Jungle.
Yeah.
And that's a whole bunch of nons. That was sent to the site May 24, 2008. So it really has been about 2.5 years since you've sent an original story to the site.
Yeah, and even that one took forever. I didn't want to get it done, but people were really wanting it. They wanted to know what happened to that character, so... And her story still isn't done, but I'm never gonna get that one done.
Are you planning any more fanfics in the future, or are you basically like, my public will love what I have done, not what I will do? And yes, I made that up on the spot.
Not really in that sense. Like, if I have the time and the urge to, then I will. But as of right now, I just have, like, a lot of other stuff to do, like commissions, school, all that good stuff, so I don't really have time to write. Like, I don't know. I just kind of want to work on drawing and stuff right now. I'm not big on writing, and I should get back to writing. But if I'm going to write about something, it's probably going to be on one of my other characters that I don't have posted on the site.
You sent your first fanfic to the site, The Wolf's Trail, in early 2006, so you hadn't even been a member here for a few... You hadn't even been a member here for a few months. Maybe I should get right to it. Why did you join the site, anyway?
Well, at the time, I was, like many artists, trying to, improve on one certain thing, which at the time for me was drawing dogs. I was drawing people for a while, and I was just like, you know what, I drew animals a lot when I was a child, and then I started on humans, but I hadn't drawn animals in a really long time. So I was just like, let's start with dogs, why not? Because at the time, it wasn't a popular meme to me. So I figured, Balto was an awesome style, I'll join a fan site. When I found that site, and it was pretty awesome. People had their own fan characters on there, and I saw some cool art, from Gray Kitty. And that was it. I was basically just looking to expand my style.
And do you feel like you've accomplished that?
Yeah, it helped me a lot, learning how to draw like that.
Okay.
I mean, it got me to the next step.
Okay. That's about all I have for the fanfics, and now on to one of the two biggest things, the images. You have 165 images and 380 people who have faved your gallery. That is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Why did you start making images? I mean, there is a huge difference between your images and your fan art, that's for sure.
Yeah. I basically did the fan image thing because I was trying to, do better on MS Paint, because that was basically all I was stuck with when I had a crappy computer. But, I still wanted, at the time, to, do requests for people, but doing fan images and renders takes up less time, and I simply didn't have a lot of time. That was basically just to save on that, but still do requests for people.
Your most recent image was sent in June 1st, 2010. Now, I have looked at your images, that at least I made sure to do before this interview. It all looks really, really good, so...
thank you.
Do you use Photoshop or Paint.net, or what do you use?
It's a program called Psy Paint Tool. Paint Tool Psy.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, Paint Tool Psy.
Yeah.
Is it an online program, or one you have to buy, or what is it?
I think.
Oh.
It used to be free, but now you have to... I mean, I think you can, use a trial for free, but now you have to pay for it, because apparently everybody and their mom was downloading it, but my roommate got it from someone for free, and so I just used that. Okay.
Do you make most of these images from scratch, or how do you make these? I'm trying to figure out how you get these poses from these different characters and make them so realistic.
I have magic.
Oh, that answers that question.
But no, I find a screen cap, and I trace over it, but I still personify it, because all characters look different, so I make it as different as possible without them actually looking like the character I drew it from. That makes it look more natural, and then I get rid of the background, and then I post it on a different background. Okay. I changed the facial expressions, the marking, some fur placement, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I particularly like that new Dusty image right there.
New Dusty image. In my fan art?
Images.
Yeah. Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that design better.
Yeah, as you put it, she's too purple.
Exactly, she's too purple.
I'm noticing that some of these are image trades and requests, but apart from that, basically, does everybody in your images actually have a character page for themselves?
Mostly. Some people either didn't get their character accepted, or they didn't post it themselves, or it's Beauty Jenna's character and she doesn't have them on there at all. So, but Most of them have character pages and are connected to them, so...
Okay. Quick question. I'm not really familiar with Kiona. And for those people who are listening to this interview, the 5 people who are listening to this interview and don't know who Kiona is, could you give us a little background about her? Or, her.
Yeah, her. Basically, she's a fan character based off the red-faced pup in the sequel. At the time, I noticed that everyone was making it a boy, so I just decided to make it a girl. People will say, oh, it looks like a boy, but all of them have eyelashes, so one could argue that they're all girls, so...
Mm-hmm.
You want, like, character background, or, like what I did to design her, or whatever?
Well, both. Let's go with the design first.
Okay.
Looking at her offhand, she does look strikingly similar to the red-faced pup from Wolf Quest, but is there anything different that you did to her, and how did you end up deciding on the final design?
At first she was built more like Jenna, more like a husky, but I decided to make her built more like both, so like stronger, thicker legs, more erect ears. But as far as the differences from this character design and the other one, I tried keeping it similar, but kind of spicing it up in my own way. I kind of gave her that chest marking. I don't want to call it a bib, but it just kind of cuts across. And a lot of huskies have that, surprisingly. So I made it like that. I gave her brighter eye color when she got older, so her eyes aren't dark or black like they are in the movie. That's about it. I wanted to try and keep it to still look like the character, but still have it look traditional, but also have it look different somehow. Like others have the white marking on the face kind of cover up the cheeks or go down the neck, but I didn't have any of that in this case.
Okay. You mentioned on her profile she hates Alu. I am the one person on the site who hasn't read your fanfics. Why does she hate Alu?
A couple of reasons. Well, as a puppy, like in the movie, she just kind of seemed more or less annoyed at her like a regular sibling would be.
Oh, that's true.
But later on, Alu got her into like some trouble with some anti-Balto people, and Kiona kind of held a grudge about that.
Okay.
That's about it. She really hates her. She kind of symbolizes my hatred for the character, but to a greater extent, I'm sure Kiona hates her more than me. Okay.
Makes sense. Is all of Kiona's backstory in your fanfics, or is there some that are somewhere else?
Ju-chan, another person on here, she wrote a little bit on her puppyhood. I didn't really write too much about it. Mostly her life the fanfics I wrote about her carries on from when she leaves Nome to her death. That carries on for about 2 years, maybe. But before that, there's not a lot on her. Like, there's a collaboration between me and Draco where she kind of talks about why she hates her sister. And there's a couple other fanfics, but nothing in really too much detail.
I'll have to read your fanfics then sometime. This seems like a really good character.
She's aged, but I think she's still good.
And now moving on to the big one, drumroll please. Your fan art.
My fan art.
I am pretty sure this is the most faved gallery of any kind on any of the animation sources.
Possibly.
698?
Ju-chan had a good run for a while. I don't know if her gallery's still on the website. I'm sure it is, but...
Well, let me check.
Pretty sure she has more than me, but...
Well, I didn't fave Ju-chan's.
Oh, not Ju-chan, Pample. Did I say Ju-chan?
I think you said... Yeah,
Pample.
Okay, Pample and Silver Denny are the only ones who have more than you. Pample has 749. Wow. And Silver Denny has 789. And I think that you could beat that in a few months, maybe?
Possibly, if I decide to do more fan art for people.
You have a whole lot of fan art.
Yes. And a lot of it got deleted over the years, so...
Your very first one was Jenna and Steel?
Yes. Well, no, there were
others before that, but they got...
There were others before that, but I don't even remember what they are anymore.
Okay.
But, no, that one was not my very first one.
But it's the oldest surviving one.
Yeah.
I love it on your gallery. I don't take requests, I don't take requests, I don't take requests, I don't take requests over and over again.
Well, people will keep asking me, even though it's blatantly stated, so I figured people would pay attention to the biggest, brightest thing on the page, so even that doesn't work.
Do you actually hand draw all of this? Do you use a tablet? How do you do all these drawings?
I used to... Well, I still do hand-drawn stuff, but my earliest stuff was hand-drawn, and then I would color it on the computer. But now that I have a tablet, I use it well. And my lines are still smooth. Like, that's just how I do it. Now that I have, like, a better program to work with, the lines are smoother. They're not, like, all pixely like they are in MS Paint. But I hand-draw, and I work on the tablet, so...
Which characters do you like to draw the most, do you think?
The fat ones.
Okay.
Like, Kirby, Ralph.
Okay.
They're chubby, and they're fun to draw. And Steel, because he's more detailed. He has, like, a really complex face, and it's fun to draw.
Okay. Let's see, you also own a character called Stunner.
Ah, yes, Stunner.
Stunner and Summer.
Yeah. That was a coincidence with the names. They didn't mean to rhyme. Somewhat.
And Stunner... voice actress is Rachel Lillis.
Yes.
So you got the person who played Misty from Pokemon.
Yep, that's right. Probably could have picked a more suitable voice, but I just like that voice actor. She's kind of awesome. What about her?
Oh, nothing particular. I just noticed.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that character elsewhere on the site. Just
yeah,
now.
I think aside from Kiona, she's my most popular female character.
Who's your most popular male one, do you think?
Her son, John Tom.
Oh, okay.
JT otherwise.
You've been doing a whole lot more art than anything else.
Yeah, it's my forte.
So how do you do your coloring for your fan art?
Nowadays, I do the outline and I still use Psy to color my work, so it makes it really easy. So pretty much the same thing I did with MS Paint, like I spilled paint or I colored it, but by hand. That's
okay.
about it.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that keeps you on Animation Source, or are you just here because it's just so much fun?
Well, it is fun, but I do have people that go on there that I like to talk to that don't really have, like, MSN or anything. I go on there to talk to them. Some people still manage to strike up interesting conversations in the forums, so I check that every now and again. And also to keep tabs, make sure no one's posting my stuff like they're not supposed to. But other than that, yeah, I still have, like, people I talk to on there regularly, and...
Are you involved in any of the other sources besides Balta Source?
I, was on Spirit Source for a while, but it got kind of boring. Like, I still have a couple of character things going on with, Larkspur.
Oh, okay.
I have, a couple characters on Lady and the Tramp Source and a couple pictures there, but I don't really go on it much. I have a character on All Dogs Go to Heaven Source and a couple of fan art pieces. That's about it. Oh, and I contributed to an article as well on that site, so that was nice. Anything else? Not really. I mean, some fandoms I choose not to get into. But
Like Robin Hood, for example.
Like Robin Hood, Mulan. I like the movie too much to really want to talk to the fans at all. So, like, I steer clear of that one. Other than that, like, if I have something interesting to say about any of the other movies, I like post an article, or if I happen to draw something related to the website, I post it on there. But none of them are really active enough for me to go on it, really.
Okay. Any sources that you're looking forward to?
And sources being made, so that's pretty cool. Even though I just like the sequel, hopefully there'll be something on the book on that one. That's what I want to see on that. I know Steve doesn't really like 3D movies, but some 3D sources would be nice on there, like How to Train Your Dragon, because I know some nifty stuff about that.
Well, that would be great, but the only 3D one I know of that's in the works is Toy Story source.
Oh yeah, that one will be cool. I don't know, basically...
There is also the Fox and the Hound source, Watership Down source I know of.
That will be interesting. Is it for the series or for the movie?
I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. 101 Dalmatians source.
That'll be flooded with Dalmatians.
Oh, no kidding. There'll be more black and white dots on there than I can count.
Now, this might sound nerdy, but My Little Pony source would be awesome to see. The new... Basically any of them. They have quite a history. But, no, really, what was I gonna say? Land Before Time, though actually they have a Wikipedia on that, so that one would kind of outdo any information that website could ever give, but...
Oh, that's...
There's like 12 movies on there, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
A series and like 4 other movies.
Yeah, wow. I would also like to see a Pokemon source, but that is so not happening. Because I'm the only member in the world, I'm the only person in the entire world who happens to have every single Pokemon episode. And taking screen caps, if I took one screen cap from every episode, there would be over 700. Not to mention the movies, and the specials, and the games, and...
Yeah, that would be a very big website. I'd be for it, but it's big enough to have, like, yeah. Maybe you don't need, like, screen caps from every episode, but, like, I don't know.
Having information on every episode.
There's basically information on every episode.
There's Bulbapedia. Everybody just go to Bulbapedia.
And Bulbapedia is very good for that, but, this could be people to talk to each other. Yeah. But you can't talk to people on Bulbapedia, and you need, like, to personalize it a bit.
How did you first learn about Balto?
How did I first learn about Balto?
Yeah.
I was a child when it came out in theaters. I saw a trailer on the TV, and I was like, Mommy, I like doggies, let's go see the movie. So, we saw it. And the funny thing is, we went with a friend of mine who was also, like, my age, but he, like, threw a fit in the middle of the movie and we left. Because he wanted to see Toy Story, and we ended up seeing Toy Story instead.
Okay.
But, like, we later got it on video, and we watched it then. Yeah, like most people, I just saw a trailer and I wanted to see it because I like dogs.
How often have you included official characters in your stuff?
More often than people think. Like in Kiona's fanfic, Caltag actually makes a cameo appearance. I gotta look at my fanfics now. Anayu was in a couple. She was in one with one of Balto's other sons. Balto's in it a lot. I had some other plans for like official characters, but I never got around to it.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, I have used Cody, Kirby, Balto, Jenna, Dusty, Ralph before as well.
I guess we could start to wrap this up. Anything that you want to add to what has already been said?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Nothing I can think of spontaneously, anyway.
Well, thanks for joining us, Cat Who Has 14 Tails. It's been nice having you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you actually decided to do it.
This is Yukon, lead guitarist of the band Alucia, member of Animation Source. A great community full of people that love movies from the golden age of animation. Sourcecast, the greatest way to get the news all across the sources. I'm an Animation Source member, and I listen to Sourcecast.
Hello, welcome to this special interview at again.
Oh my goodness.
I This is Skul again. Hi, how's it going? And I am here to interview ZukotheCat. Hi,
Hello.
Zuko. Hi, Zuko. Welcome. Again, this is the second time that we have attempted an interview. The first time worked perfectly, unlike most of our other Sourcecast endeavors, but I believe you decided to re-record due to stuff that's happened. So.
Just been a long time since the last one, and also I just got a headset, so you could probably hear me much better than the last time.
Yeah, and I don't hear a helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. So, better quality. Oh my gosh, why not?
So, also this is rather special because this is our first live interview. With us today are MantisBoy9090, Swords of the Wolves, who can't be on a mic right now, so he's just listening in, and Wolf Bases. They are our first live audience for a Sourcecast episode. Or interview, rather. The listeners will be helping us out by giving us questions to ask Zuko during this interview, and I will be the one asking them, but thanks to them in advance for asking some, hopefully, great questions. So, Zuko, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Let's get right into it. First of all, what made you want to join Animation Source, or Balta Source as it was known back then?
Ooh, what age? Let me think. I was like, so maybe 13, 14-ish. So that's approximately about 5 years ago, almost. No, that's 6. Yeah, 6 years ago. Dang.
Wow.
I didn't even notice this.
It's kind of a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
According to your profile, you joined June 15, 2006. So you've been here for over 5 years now.
Yeah.
You go.
Stalker before that.
So what made you want to join?
Back then it was a more fun community, mostly because people I knew there were interesting to say. That's where I made a lot of my online friends to begin with, so kind of just being able to interact with them regularly was nice. But I also enjoy being active. It definitely helped me with my artistic skills, because never before it was introduced to digital art until I joined the site. So that was definitely something that kept me going, and also just the freedom of creating characters and such, so it was a lot more fun back then.
One thing I know for sure that I didn't ask last time, were you into art a lot before you joined Animation Source, or did you sort of get into it afterwards, or something in between?
I've always been into art ever since, I was very young, but when it comes to getting professional and more of a career thought, that kind of happened as I joined Animation Source. Like before, I would always try to draw the best I could, and I loved it, like middle school and elementary school, I was known for being the best artist in the class. But I didn't have a solid preference. Like I don't know if I liked cartoons, realism, or stuff like that. But I always did love animated films. Like my favorite movie was Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, or Cimarron, whatever you pronounce it.
Cimarron.
But okay, thank you. And when I joined Balta Source at that time, I was kind of first introduced to graphics and stuff like that, because CatWhoHas14Tails used MS Paint, and so I started getting more into that. That's how I kind of developed my passion for art, in this time kind of recognizing what I liked to do best, and where I wanted to stand in my career, or in a career. Okay. So, yep, that's my artistic history.
And I believe a recent picture you posted of your Saba, whatever. How is it pronounced, anyway?
I say Saba. I don't know what everyone else says. The voice has been Saba to me. Saba sounds cool, though.
I saw a recent picture of your comparisons of her before and after, like her when you first joined the site 5 years ago, and then more recently. And actually, that's what inspired me to make that little gift for you, anyway.
Thank you.
And you have really improved from the site. Now, would you say that this site actually has had something to do with your improving, or that you have improved, and as you've improved, you've just posted on the site?
Yeah, site definitely did help. That's kind of what I owe to Balta Source, because before joining the site, I just drew because I like to, but when it came to competitions, or stuff like that. I was never into it. I just drew because I love to. But joining the site, I was surrounded by other artists, which was kind of new to me. And so, of course, there's people who are much, much better than me. And so to kind of encourage me to reach to their level and try different styles, different poses, and expressions. So the site has taught me a great deal about that in general. And so once I was kind of bored with just canines, I moved on to other websites who kind of had the same idea of online galleries and how you can post commentary and feedback. So Baltsource kind of started the whole thing for me, and so I kind of owe a great deal of it to Baltsource, as much as I kind of don't want to say that, but it's true.
Okay. Let's see. Do our listeners have any questions yet?
Oh, look, it sort of has a question for me. When did I get into My Little Ponies? I'll have to say late last December. It was early this year. I don't know, people were posting My Little Pony icons all over BS, and I was like, what is this? I looked into it and fell in love. So it's, I guess, fairly recently. Yay for bronies. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, Mighty. She said no.
Okay, then. Since the other two have fallen asleep on this, moving on.
Oh, here you go. We have a question. Thank you. I like you.
Wolf Bases wants to know. Yes, thank you. What was your most challenging art piece to work on? And I guess I'll expound on that and split into two questions. One, having to do with the site, and two, if it's besides that, overall.
It depends. I mean, like right now, as of this current time?
As of right now, maybe something you're working on, as of this minute, I guess.
This minute. Yeah. Okay. I'm not working on anything, but all the times I do struggle is, I guess you could say colors. What I mean is trying to mash different settings with the character and stuff, because when you, like, say I drew a wolf on a cliff edge or something, I want to give it a background, however, I need to merge the colors accordingly so that it kind of, the character merges with that setting in a correct manner. I know it sounds complicated, but my trouble oftentimes is just trying to make it look real, in between the right shading colors, the pose being correct, or the setting itself being correct. And I guess my overall struggle is just trying to be correct in my artwork every way possible, whether it's the character's anatomy, the correct environment, the way I use the colors. So I guess I always struggle with that, but every time I try, I do gain more and more experience. It's always interesting and great to learn from.
Okay. So, what's your favorite art piece on Baltosaurus?
Ooh, well, let me see. I'll have to dig out to my gallery for that.
I've already got it up.
Thanks, you're smarter than me. Okay, I found my favorite. This one's, if you go to my gallery, it's on the first page, and it's entitled Hey Lady, featuring my two characters, Zukata and Drag. And it's my favorite because it's a little personal. It's a gift I did for my friend because he means the world to me. So it's just kind of me telling him, like, you're a great friend to me, and I will always need you. And it's also based off a song, Hey Lady from Thriving Ivory. The little scene here is from the line, like, pretty girls need cowboys, I need you here tonight. So, I don't know, I'm actually proud of it itself. I managed to do a okay background for being a speed paint, and anatomy is mostly correct. So yeah, that's my proud piece right now.
Okay, and what a nice piece it is, too.
Well, I see some more questions down in the tiny chat.
Oh, okay. Mighty Balto1925 wants to ask, when did you start using a tablet? And by a tablet, I'm guessing they're talking about an artistic tablet, not an iPad.
No, yes. Yes, I have a Wacom tablet. It's actually the first and only one I've ever owned. I got it for my 15th birthday party, and first I didn't really understand what it was. I mean, I knew it could connect to the computer and draw. But when I got it, I used it a little bit, but I wasn't so enthused like I am right now. But it's only recently people saying, like, use a tablet. And I was like, oh, I have one of those. So I connected it about, like, a year later and totally fell in love with it. So started using it, I guess, about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it's the same one. And it's old. I might have to get a new one, actually.
Yeah, I guess tablets can get old. Even the best technology gets old sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, it's 5 years old. It's actually quite remarkable to stay alive this long. So,
going to your characters, looking at Zucata right now. Zukata, Zukata.
You just call her Zuko. Zukata was an old name.
Zuko, then.
Just that's for someone.
And just to clarify, Zuko does come from Avatar: Last Airbender, correct?
Yes, that was a source of inspiration.
So I'm looking at Zuko, fine, and it's changed since the last time I looked at it. So I guess you finally finished that new design that you were talking about last time.
Yeah, it basically just changed the colors and her body shape, which that even that will get fixed eventually, I'm sure.
I don't know too much about personas. I've been trying forever to make one of my own, but yeah. That may not happen for quite some time. What goes into making one specifically? What went into making yours?
It took a good long time to come up with this persona, actually. If you look at in her character sheet, you can see there's other designs that I made in the past. When it comes to making persona, basically, I would say try not to overdo it, because I see so many characters that with so many insane patterns and designs that when people ask me to draw it, I'm like, I don't even want to because it looks so darn crazy, I probably couldn't even do it. So I would say, when designing one, try to keep it somewhat simple, but make sure it's something you like as well, because that's the whole point of a persona. You have to like it, because I've made so many designs in the past, and they're good designs. I actually still like them. I just don't think they're good for me, like, they're my style. So I say when making into one, I don't know, if you consider your maybe favorite markings, favorite colors and tones, and try to do that. And for me personally, I prefer more natural colors versus exotic sparkle colors. Unless you really like it, then I guess go ahead. I don't know.
So I'll definitely keep that in mind for when I try to make my own. So how many designs, you probably can't even count, but how many designs do you think went into actually making your persona?
I can count, actually. It's been, I'd say 5 or 6.
Okay.
But I started way back when I was 13. A friend of mine designed my first one, because I did as a request, and then I changed that one and held on to it for a good couple years, and then changed it again and finally settled on a permanent one, which is what I use right now.
Okay. And I believe, unless I misunderstood, you have 2 personas, one that's a more realistic animal persona, and then one like your Skype avatar, for example, that's like what you would look like if you had an animal form, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically the same character. They're both named Zuko, and they're both me, I guess so to say. But I just don't like to be stuck on one single animal, because I love all animals. So, and I usually use the wolf one mostly for Balto, because it's a wolf website. But the cat one I use quite often now, actually, because it's a little more personal for myself. And oftentimes I will turn both characters or both animal forms into anthros for myself. Simply, if I'm expressing myself a little closer to home, I would want to use me as a person. So sometimes you'll see her with, my current hair right now, or with more accessories. So same character, just drawn differently.
Okay. You have quite a history for Zuko, and is there stuff that you want to tell about Zuko that you haven't yet? Or I guess another way to say it would be, how complete is Zuko's history?
You mean on her character page?
Yeah, her character page, and also as she's been portrayed in art and fanfics and stuff.
Right. She has no solid history. I actually made that up for the character page simply because the site, once demanded a history or a relation to Balto. And so I guess just for fun purposes, I kind of gave her background history to connect to some other characters, like Hazel and the other Wolf Zuko I have, as well as young Drake. So that's her small history, but it's nothing like permanent or, I don't know, that I'm very much into, like I would consider for a movie or something. But regarding my character, she's just always been my personal way to express any thoughts, events, or feelings for myself. So like if I were, I don't know, let's say feeling angry, I sometimes would like vent by drawing Zuko in a rage fit or something. And so, historical-wise, he simply just develops according to, well, how I develop.
Okay. Wolfbasis wants to know, besides Zuko, do you have any other characters? I think we need only take a look at your profile to...
Oh, yes. I have quite a few characters. Some I actually like more than others.
Okay.
Which kind of characters are you referring to? Balthazar's characters, or characters I make in general?
In general, I guess. Baltasaurus I'm counting. 2 dozen probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care too much for my my animation source characters anymore because simply, if I were to make a movie, I couldn't use them because they're already attached to an existing universe. But other characters I actually can be found on DeviantArt, and they are encouraged according to my art classes. Because last semester my teacher said, design a character, and I was like, oh please, I've been doing that for years. But I couldn't use a Balthazar's character, so I had to come up with some different ones, which I actually like a lot better.
Well, you do have quite a few.
Yes.
Let's see here.
I would say my most original character is Pineapple the Bat. I can get into that later. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I'm looking at your DeviantArt and looking at your My Little Pony pictures, for example.
Yeah. Forgot about those.
You got a Pony Sona as well.
Yes, because ponies are so fun to draw, and my friends got me into it, so I blame them.
Blame?
Yes, I blame them.
I wouldn't blame them. They just drew you into a mass something of awesome.
I blame them. I wouldn't have done it had some of my friends not drawn ponies quite often, or like had pony icons, and yeah, I blame them.
Got a few fanfics as well. Would you mind telling us a little history on your fanfics? What made you want to write them? Why haven't you written any in a while? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Well, my fanfics are really just giving my characters a story, because I do like the characters on BS. I just really can't use them as often, except for like personal fun stuff. But I do like how I develop them and simply just want to give them that background. And my more favorite one is Saba's, because out of all the characters, I think she's the more interesting for myself. How she's simply just kind of struggles character-wise, simply just to find her place in the world. And I actually really do wish I could work on her story more, actually know what's going to happen to her, but I haven't written anything in a long time. Simply because, well, one, I don't have the time for it. My focus is more on my artwork and any bigger projects I want to work on. Every time I attempt, I just lose the motivation. So I've got a couple like half-written fanfics lying around on Balthazar, so I just might finish those someday, probably never. So I'm actually considering making like one big fanfic, kind of describing what happens to my characters. Like, so here's how their stories end, because I will never finish a proper fanfic for these guys. Because I know a lot of people are curious, like, so what happens to this person? I'm like, well, so I might do that someday, so look forward to that someday.
Okay. On your fanfics, concerning them, I guess, what's your favorite one that you've written?
I don't know. I actually like some of these fanfics, even though they're like poorly written, because I did them when I was at a far younger age. Possibly Fixing a Family and One Family Lost, Another Found. Fixing a Family was a RP that I did with Skata, and that was just actually a fun one to do because the story itself is very, I guess you can say, dynamic. It's not your typical butterflies and cute bunny story. So that was a great one to do. So like when actually doing the RP, I was getting into the story itself. Now, One Family Lost, Another Found is another one I like because it's always been just a personal idea that's been running around in my mind that I finally got to put down on paper. So those are my two favorites.
What was the one that you enjoyed writing the most?
One Family Lost, Another Found. No, just kidding. Fixing a Family, the RP one. That was because it was a collaboration with my friend. who has a very creative mind, so that was definitely fun.
Okay.
Because half the time I was kind of anticipating for her reply to get the story going.
I think that's it for the fanfics. Except, does real life inspire your fanfics at all, or does it come mostly from the imagination?
I would say some real life does have some influence to it, typically because I always hear my friends express their daily horrors and stuff like that. But others are actually from some imagination. One Family Lost, Another Found was definitely from my imagination. It did have some influence from Zuko from After the Last Airbender, but everything else was kind of an idea that was been running around in my mind. But some of these characters actually do have influence from my own events. I like to think that there's a part, and it sounds weird, a part of myself in every one of them, like one trait. I suppose that's a small influence.
Okay. I think that's it for the fanfics. Again.
Okay.
Moving on to... How about images?
Oh, yay.
Yay, images. Just glancing at some of these, looks like your first images appeared around early to mid 2008, unless that's just when they appeared on the site. What program do you use for rendering?
Mostly Photoshop. All my stuff is done in Photoshop. I did MS Paint a while back, but now that I got my tablet fixed about a year ago, I use Photoshop.
I can see that your style has changed over the years. I take it as mostly because of, like, you found shortcuts or other stuff, maybe.
Oh yeah, it just helps to kind of understand the program better. I did use MS Paint for a long time because I had very little understanding of other programs. But then I used Photoshop, but then I got my tablet, so that helped out a lot.
Yes, tablets do help.
I have no idea.
So looking at this, it looks like mostly what you have rendered has been Saba or your own persona. But then again, you've also done other... I'm assuming these are your characters. Maybe I recognize Zuko. Not Zuko. You're Zuko. Jordan's character. I don't know if that's her personal...
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done like 2 years ago, I did some trades and stuff, so that's what we're looking at.
Okay. So, basically, I guess, next logical question would be, who's your favorite character to render?
I don't have anything specific. My struggle with when rendering is just finding the right body type, because there's not very many options offered from the screenshots. Maybe Zuko, the male character Zuko that I own, not my persona.
Okay.
He's always been interesting. I like drawing him in general.
Okay. And sort of dwindled down, not nearly as often. But are you planning on continuing to do rendering, or will you stick mostly to regular art?
Regular art's my bigger interest, but there's moments where I've just been like kind of bored or like, what should I do? And I'll do a render, I guess, but it's not like my biggest highlight or anything. And Mighty has a question for me.
Does she?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Mighty wants to know, how long does it take for you to make a render?
Oh, not very long. I'd say like an hour to an hour and a half. Mostly because my only job is just to color over the screenshot versus like drawing the character and then giving it the background. So not very long, unless I'm like being very picky about how I draw it.
Let's assume you were going to make a shot with 3 characters, all of which you've had experience with before. Let's just say Saba, Zuko, and the other Zuko. Just random example. Just like probably shoulders up and a simple background. How long do you think that would take?
Probably just an hour. Well, it's probably an hour. Maybe just a little more than that.
That's quick work.
It's just because most of the work's already done for you. Basically, I just have to fix the line art, choose the colors, and that's it.
Okay. Are you working on any right now?
Images? No. Drawings? Yes.
Do you have any images planned?
Not really. I just do it more in boredom, really, and just see if I can get creative with it. That's the only fun thing about renders. See if I can actually do something interesting with it. But usually it's not much.
Okay. Which image took you the longest to make?
Let me think about that one. Well, the older ones took a long time because I was using MS Paint, which is a good program for basic stuff, but not the most fastest to use, sadly. Probably the recent one entitled You with Cicada and Drag again, just because I was actually putting a lot more effort into that one, and some of the renders might not even look like renders because I personalized it that much. It actually took a while. The shading was also getting annoying.
Okay, well, now I guess we're going to the biggie. Drumroll, please. Your fan art.
Oh, snap.
Looking at this, your oldest art piece on the site is from 2007. I believe you said last time that wasn't your oldest art piece that you got.
No, it's not. I actually found some of my older arts, and the earliest, I believe, was 2006.
So, right around the time that you joined, and for some reason or another, it's no longer there. Sad face.
Well, actually, there's a story about that. Back when I added my first drawings, a lot of it was influenced upon CatWhoHas14Tails' drawings, because at that time she was my artistic idol. Because her stuff is still, amazing. And for a 13-year-old girl, I didn't have much creativity or inspiration, so I just kind of copied. And it was good for a while to use her as a crutch. I would, learn a lot about positive expressions and stuff like that. However, when it came to making the style, I couldn't do it because it was hers. And that kind of got a lot worse as I improved. It was good for me to improve, however, it was basically a rip-off of Cat's art. So that kind of became art theft, even though it was unintentional.
Mm-hmm.
And so around, I would say, 2007-8, like a year after that whole thing, I was encouraged, or actually forced, I should better say, to delete all those drawings simply because they wanted to press me to make my own style. And I didn't want to do it because, I drew that stuff. Don't make me delete it. But I did anyway, because it was out of respect. So if you look at my gallery right now, the first picture is entitled Evidence of My Style. It's because of that reason, because I was showing that this is my style now. Don't make me delete it.
Okay. And you have... I've looked at Cat's drawings and your drawings, and there is a significant difference with the style, so you have improved. Oh.
Yeah, I eventually understood how to get a style, and now I have no problem with it. I can easily change a style with no worries or frets.
Okay, and looking at your art right now, like you said, you've gone from... I take it these older ones are drawing and then scanning it in?
Yeah, those were done by sketching it on paper, scanning it in, and the program I used back then was called Coral Paint. It wasn't that good of a program now that I think about it. Then I used MS Paint because of it.
Okay.
And then I finally got Photoshop, but that was before I started using my tablet, so...
Okay, and since using a tablet, I will give you this. It's much cleaner. No one can argue with that.
Which one? Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's your style. Same question here as with your images. Which one do you like drawing most? Which character?
Cicada, solely because she is my persona, and I could use her in different ways, whether it's personal, whether it's just random or not. Another favorite character is the other Zuko, the wolf one, just because altogether his personality, both how I made him and from Avatar, is just fun to play with. So I enjoy that a great deal.
You have been making a few pictures for Moss recently.
Yeah, she's making me. For those who haven't figured it out by now, Moss is my sister, and my actual biological sister, not just, like best friend. And she's always like, why don't you draw anything for me? I'm your sister. Because I'm always drawing things for my friends, but never her, just because, I don't know, she knows I love her. So, I drew stuff for her, also because, for different events like birthdays and Christmas. I just draw a picture, and she likes it.
Mm-hmm. And that's real nice of you. Nice sister there.
Thank you.
Your art of Moss is actually pretty good, too.
Thank you.
Though I'm pretty much saying that to everything, aren't I? Well, that's because it's true.
Well, I'm honored.
I'm still surprised that I only found that out about a month ago, that you're sisters.
Yeah, not everyone knows, and when I do say it, everyone's like, what? Or like, oh, that explains a lot. Because we're always like bashing each other, and you're like, are you guys being mean? We're like, no, we're just sisters.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, here's a question for Mantis.
Do I like muffins? No, I don't. Let's count English muffins. English muffin sandwiches? That's pretty good.
Oh, here's what you need to do. Put egg inside an English muffin.
Well, yeah.
Cooked, of course.
I actually have a recipe about that I picked
Really?
up from a grill, because I worked there for like a semester. We call it the just egg muffin sandwich.
Cool.
Yes, I love ice cream, Mighty Balto. Yes, I love it. Surprisingly, I haven't bought myself any today. It's disappointing, and I should do that tomorrow.
So, let's see. Back to your art. If we can get our attention span back there. Let's see. Who's this drag character?
Drag? He's based off one of my closest friends. Met him a year ago in an art class, and he's like one of the very few people who I know in real life who don't think me drawing animals on the internet is weird. And so, because I'm kind of don't like telling people what I do, unless I know that they can handle it, I guess you can say. And so I kind of introduced to that part of the universe, and he was like, that's cool, so I made him a persona. And so you'll see me drawing him quite often, because he's one of my greatest friends ever. That's who he is. He isn't like a Balto character or a fan character, he's just a fun persona that I can help it draw.
Mantis wants for you to go to his school. Stalker. Anyway. Not you, him.
People draw animals and post them on the internet. I'm sure a lot of people do, but very few people actually have personas. That's where people get creeped out. It's like, what? You draw yourself as a cat? You're weird. I'm like, okay. What else is new? Thank you.
Okay.
So.
Well, coming close to ending the art questions, you mentioned earlier that you are currently making some art. You want to give us a little preview? You can't give a preview on an audio chat, but you want to tell us a little bit about what some stuff upcoming is about?
Sure. Let's hope I can follow through with these projects. Right now, I'm working on my own little storyboard for Warriors. For those who don't know what Warriors is, it's a series about cats that live in a forest, very similar to Redwolf, where they take normal animals and expand into something greater. And I've actually liked the series a lot, and I see animations of them on YouTube, but nothing particularly impressive, except for like maybe 2 artists. And so I kind of want to play around with that just to practice my animation. So I've been making a storyboard, and I hope to maybe animate a small scene from the book. So right now I'm pretty motivated, but let's see how long this lasts. Other than that, I'm just continually working on other art skills for portfolio, such as figure drawing, 3D animation, 2D animation, as well as a presentable sketchbook. So that's my biggest project right now, because I want that portfolio to be impressive for something my school is doing.
And moving on to, from your Baltosaurus art to other sources, how involved are you in other sources besides just Baltosaurus?
Not very involved. I kind of wish I would, because a lot of these movies I love, such as Spirit, also Brother Bear, as well as I think Rio, Lion King, Mulan, and so I kind of wish I could express my interest. However, I just never really have the time to draw fan art much anymore. So, but my second biggest gallery active gallery would be, I guess, Spirit, because I like drawing horses. I just don't actually do it.
I believe you are helping to build the Secret of NimSource.
Yes.
Sort of. Kind of. Hold on. What's the status with that?
Okay, yeah, about that. Actually, it's very close to being completed. I know I've been saying that for like months now. I just have to stop being lazy and work on the menu bars, the banner, but that's mostly due because I don't have very resources, and also because this past month has been crazy for me. I've been moving, and also computer problems because this sucker's feeling on me.
And the small problem of I failed to get the screenshots to you.
Yeah, we had to get the last half of that, so that's actually what I need the screenshots for the menu bars. And I actually had those finished, but then my computer screwed up on me, so I lost those files. So it wasn't that great to begin with. So
I can get the screenshots to you soon, actually, because now I have my computer back, as you can see, computer, and I figured out a fastest way to grab screenshots. It doesn't take hours on end. It takes anyway, I can.
That's good. Thank you.
So I'll probably get those to you soon. Then you can. Yeah, I know, right?
You're fine.
And I'll get that to you soon, so you can finish up and open Secret Nim Source. Yay! So, when Secret Nim Source opens, do you hope to be involved in that source? I mean, you helped to create it, of course, but do you think you'll be drawing and maybe stuff?
Probably won't be super involved. I guess with me being really busy and back in school, the most I could probably provide is just fan art. I've had a fanfic idea that I really want to expand on, actually, but I know I probably will never get a chance or time to work on that. And I guess if you want me to do moderating stuff, sure, why not? but yeah, I guess my biggest contribution is just the actual layout itself, as well as maybe some fan art, because I actually love that movie, and drawing Mrs. Brisby's pretty awesome. I love her style.
It is a good movie. What do you hope to do for a career?
Animation. Right now, my pre-major is animation. I'm working to create a suitable portfolio for my school, because in order to study that department, you have to get accepted into the visual arts program, and they take about 20 people per year amongst 200 applicants and people who are working on it. I'm just kind of doing that right now, and if I do get accepted, hopefully very soon, I'll be able to learn more about animation. Hope one day to, I don't know, I'll be working for DreamWorks, Disney, or something like that.
Cool. While we're wrapping up our questions, Wolf Basis wants to know, which do you enjoy working on more, fan art, fanfics, or fan images?
Fan art. Always fan art. The others are pretty, I guess, amusing and nice to do, but passion-wise, I've always been into art, so I prefer to create my own stuff.
Okay. And I take it you enjoy doing that more outside of Balto Source?
Say that again, sorry?
I would assume that you enjoy doing that outside of Animation Source as well?
Yeah, definitely. I prefer drawing, I call it real art, other ideas versus something fan-related, because fan-related is great and all, but it won't exactly show anything impressive for a portfolio, sadly.
2D is real art.
Yes, it is. And also very difficult.
As opposed to 3D, which is fake art?
No, actually. 3D, it all depends on how you look at it. 3D is, art in its own sense. It's definitely hard. When I had to learn how to do it, I just about wanted to shoot myself. But when it comes to sketching on paper, sadly 3D doesn't qualify. But for graphics, Photoshop and stuff, it does. But my animation interest will always be in 2D.
Okay.
Which doesn't exist very much anymore, sadly.
Yes, sadly. I think there's 2, maybe 3 films that came out this year in 2D as opposed to 10, 20, thank you, Mantis, that have been made in 3D. I think Winnie the Pooh and Japanese anime, that's all there is.
Yeah, it's very sad, I have to admit. I mean, I do respect 3D animation, actually revere it, because after having to do it myself for a class, I'm whoever can master that is total pro. But however, I do kind of hate how all animation, or most animations, kind of directed towards that part of the field. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the people in my school, those who played the program mostly got in because of the 3D skills versus the 2D animation, which kind of makes me wonder, is there any hope for me? What? But I don't know, it's still there. I know a lot of people who are still into it, so that's a good comfort.
I think that might actually be it.
Okay.
Okay, before we wrap this up, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, not really. Just if you want to see me draw, just go on my seminar or my other blog. Yeah, if you have other questions, just send me a PM or ask me on my Tumblr. I can be stalked. All my links are posted on Themenart. And that's it.
My Little Pony.
What about it?
It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Who's your favorite pony character?
Ooh. That's not a very nice question, because I love them all. I would have to say Rarity. I just love her brisk professional manner while still being like a total girly. I think she's awesome, and my runner-up is Applejack, because she's just fun. I love impersonating their voices whenever bored enough. They have awesome accents.
You looking forward to season 2?
Yes, I am. Like no other.
My Little Pony Source is coming out, actually.
I know, I can't wait for that. It should be really fun, and I'm sure that'll actually stay alive.
Yeah. My face is completely white. I think that is going to be it. Okay, I think we're done. Well, thank you very much, ZukotheCat, for this interview. Again.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the opportunity.
And I swear I will get this thing done faster than the last one.
It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot.
No problem. Have a good night.
We are mighty!
Move on over, Rovers, because I'm awesome, and I am Sourcecast's biggest fan. Okay, on a serious note, I am an Animation Source member. But what I love about Animation Source is that you can just hang out and enjoy whatever is going on. You know, you can enjoy reading somebody's fan fiction or viewing somebody's images or fan art and just have a good time. I listen to Sourcecast, and I am Mighty Balto 1925.
Okay, I am joined with MantisBoy. Do you say your name 9090 or 9090?
9090.
9090?
A lot of people get mixed up with it.
Okay, well, I guess I'm not the first then, so I guess we're here with MantisBoy9090. How are you doing today?
Doing fine.
Okay, so for the most part, we're here to talk about Brother Bear Source, one of our newest sources. First of all, tell us how you became involved as a mod on Brother Bear Source.
It all started before it was even created. I was on a lot of the shop boxes. I was everywhere. All of a sudden started getting this idea about, I like Brother Bear, so might as well try making a source for that. So I went and talked to Steve. Then after that, when it was accepted, I talked to Mohammed in other words, because I actually trust him for all this stuff, because he's had a lot of knowledge, and well, he's really helpful to me. That's how it all started.
Okay, sounds good. So what exactly is it that you do on Brother Bear Source?
What I do is I'm set up to get if you know about all the information on the movie and such, I help put all that up and do research, so it's pretty fun. That's just the main thing I do. It's actually a pretty good job because I'm not really needed 24/7 with my busy schedule I have. But I have found a lot of really good information. I did hear rumors about there being a Brother Bear 3. I also searched it up a bit. I don't know if I did find it or not, but it's just a rumor right now.
Looking at that Brother Bear 3 topic on the forums right now, hypothetically, if it does happen, do you have any idea what it would be about, or is there anything that you wish that it would be about, or?
I did read someone's post, I forgot who it was. They started explaining about, Coda growing up and living on his own and such, and then forgot Kenai's girlfriend's name, or wife's name, I forgot her name. Well, whatever, I think they, have, a family in that. I really don't know. If it comes out, I'll be happy to watch it.
Me too. Brother Bear is one of my favorite films. I'm looking at the site itself. Since it's one of the newer sites, it's actually pretty popular. It was a little more popular than even I had hoped it to be. So, what do you think? So, what do you think is one of the biggest contributions to it being so popular?
My guess would mainly be the graphics. Just a few days ago, I was talking to Mo on the Shoutbox, and he started saying that I was gone for a bit, and I told him yeah because I was busy with school and such. Then he started telling me about how hard it was for him to get the graphics up, and he tried it himself, but it got denied. He hired someone else who was better on the graphics, and I gotta say, the graphics catch me a lot more than anything else on how the whole site is set up, and it's great.
Yeah, the site graphics designer is credited as Fiddlefox, so I'm not sure if that's actually who did it, but may I ask, why did you choose Brother Bear to work on? I assume you've worked on this the most out of all the sources, so why did you choose this one?
Like I said before, it was a really great movie, and I was like, what the hey, put up a source for that. It would have been really great, and it's just how it came. This is me liking the movie.
So, what's your favorite part about Brother Bear Source?
I would say Shoutbox, because that's where I always hang out the most. But I'm actually enjoying the people's drawings on the fan art place.
What contributions do you make to the site?
If you look up the information on Brother Bear 1 and look up some of the stuff on Brother Bear 2, I helped work on that. I busted my brains out to find all the information I can get. It was not fun getting all the information, but it's worth it. But I also would think Sardonyx, I think that's how the name is pronounced.
It's Sardonyx, yeah.
Yeah. She also helped with the other half of getting the information, if I have the gender right.
Yeah, it's a girl. Muhammad is in somewhere. I think he's in Pakistan. Let me check.
Yeah, he was in Pakistan. That's why one of the reasons why he really couldn't really come was because he's not really good on speaking with his English, which I really gotta say that sucks, because I really wanted Mo to be in this interview, because he's actually been a really great partner to work with. He does everything. He's running the site right now, because I'm actually happy that he's running it, because like I always say, my schedule doesn't accept with running the site and also continuing on with my life.
Let's see. You were part of the site before it became the site. Were you the one who originally came up with the idea, or was it someone else and you just heard about it?
Actually, it grew onto me, and the idea started to go on to me, and then I talked to Mo about it, and then both of us had that one idea, and we were both mainly the starters of it.
I'm looking, and the only other major mod that's here besides Unreal being the Shoutbox mod is Emily123. Do you actually communicate with her at all for the site?
Not really, because I'm rarely on. I normally come on just to check to see if there's anything that needs to get fixed, or try to get people to talk in the Shoutbox, but I think I've talked to her in the past before the site was even made. I don't know. My memory's really bad.
Yeah. Some people you just can't remember if you've seen them or not. Would you say that Brother Bear is one of your favorite sources?
Yeah, but I still gotta say Baltasaurus is the top one, obviously, but I like Brother Bear because of how it's just set up in the storyline, just everything about it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to anyone who hasn't really been on Brother Bear Source a whole lot, but are interested? Is there anything that you would like to say to sort of grab their attention and get them to see the site?
Normally I would think of just saying, if you watch a movie, you could get taken away from it. You can get lost in the movie, like how I normally do it. Because normally the best kind of movies are the ones where, when you watch it for the first time, and it's done, you feel tempted to just press the replay button again and watch it over. Those kinds of movies are the best kind. Like Brother Bear got me, and I wanted to replay it again, over and over again.
Do you know of anything that will be coming to Brother Bear Source in the future, or anything that you would even just like that hasn't even been discussed?
I think a few days ago I checked the multimedia, and on the screenshots, we are still working on that. I know all the screenshots are not even up. I'm a little bit annoyed by it, and it's going to be pretty hard to get them up. Also, with that rumor for Brother Bear 3, if it is true, we will try to get that set up also, but we really don't know yet.
Okay. That's all the questions that I can think of right now. Is there anything that you would like to add, just to sort of wrap this up?
I guess I can add where I could just say, with all the people that have helped out with the site, I give them a lot of credit. They've done a spectacular, really great job on putting the site together. And without them, this site would have never been up. You should go up and thank them. They deserve the whole thing.
Okay. So, I guess that did make me think of another question. There were a whole bunch of fan contributions to the site. What would you probably don't look through them too much if you're anything like me, but in the event that you happen to come across something every once in a while, for anything contributed by fans, fan art, fanfics, images, videos, characters, anything.
I've only seen maybe a few fan art. Fan images I rarely look at, unless if it's something that's really great that catches my eye, but I haven't really seen anything.
Well, I think that's actually all the questions I might have for now. Except for one more. You personally, are there any sources that you're looking forward to in the future?
I guess I can explain this one story. You know when Steve brought up the project about bringing out information of a source site, and then if you accepted it, then you could become a mod in that?
Yeah, I even joined that myself.
I joined that. That's how I became a Shoutbox mod on All Dogs Go to Heaven source, but got kicked off after a while because I was too busy with life. What got me to become a Shoutbox, past Shoutbox mod for that site was I did information on Oliver and Company source. That's all. I was doing that as soon as I was done watching the movie, and it's the music from that movie that caught me. But I'm possibly thinking that there should be source sites for books, how people on Lion King source always do Warriors RPs, maybe a Warrior source or something for the Warriors books would be interesting to see.
Well, I think that is all the questions that I have. So thank you, MantisBoy9090, for this.
Problem.
And I'll be sure to check out Brother Bear Source a whole lot more.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Skip. What I love about Animation Source is the fact that it has such an open and friendly atmosphere. The community within Animation Source, for the most part, is very welcoming, and the members, whether new or old, always seem to enjoy themselves. It's also a place where you can send art, fanfics, and other images and stuff, and get comments on it that make you feel better about yourself. You have fun. It's also a good place to make friends from around the world. I mean, you can't really do that with Facebook or MySpace or other sites like that. So basically, Animation Source has qualities to it that other sites don't, and that's what makes it unique. And it's quite addicting, hence why I've been on every day for the past 5 years. Anyway, the thing I like about Sourcecast is that Sourcecasters have a great time getting together and talking about things that happen around all of Animation Source, and not just around one source, which is good, especially for members who stay on one source all the time. Like me. So we're not left out in the dark. I'm an Animation Source member, and I listen to Sourcecast.
Hi, I'm here today, and I am here with Redwolf03, one of the best-known fanfic writers on Animation Source. First of all, Red, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, I guess the first question that we could start off is, What made you start writing Balto fanfiction to begin with?
It was kind of funny. I was just on the internet one day and I found Balto Central, and I realized that I really liked the movie when I was little, but I'd just kind of forgotten about it since it's not like as popular as it could be. But I just found the site, and then I read some of the fan fiction, and I'd always liked to write, so I'm like, well, why can't I write some of that? So I started writing fan fiction for that site, and then when it closed down a couple years ago, I went to Balto Source, and that's when I really started getting like more people reading my work and everything.
So, what made you start writing, period, like anything?
I've always been a writer. Like, even when I was little, I always had some kind of notebook with me, and I just scribble down whatever I felt like. I mean, it just always came naturally. I never really just questioned it or had anyone tell me to write. I just kind of did it, and it went from there.
Alrighty. Inferno wants to know, what prompted you, besides your love of Balto, to write that many fanfics? I guess, since we sort of asked that, I'll rephrase it by asking, what made you keep going with it? Why not just stop after one?
Well, the reception of the first one, I didn't really expect it to get any kind of response. Like, I just posted on there just to see my work up there, and I didn't really think much about having an audience. But people started asking for more, and I mean, I had planned on turning it into a series if it went anywhere, and it did. So I decided to do the whole Second Chance series just to get the whole writing thing going, and then from there I kind of branched out to other fanfics.
Alright. Wolfbasis wants to know, which fanfic did you enjoy writing the most? And I guess since it's been a while since you've written these fanfics, I'll just have to ask, as far as you remember, which one did you enjoy writing the most?
It has been a while. I think my favorite one writing it would be Finding Destiny. Because it was the first time I really got to create a character, like create a whole story around her. And she had a cutting wit, she was funny, she was tough, she's everything I'd want to be. And it was just fun coming up with a story that I don't think anyone had ever done before.
And a question that I just thought of right now, how does it feel to know that you have inspired Dragon Tamer, arguably the most well-known fanfic writer on the site? No offense to you, of course.
None taken.
I have read your stories and his. They're both terrific. But I was just wondering how it feels to know that you've basically inspired him to write stories like that.
It feels amazing. Like, I'm so honored that Dragon Tamer thinks so well of me, and he's done an amazing job with my characters. Like, I don't even have the words for it. He's such a great guy, he's such an amazing writer, and I'm really happy with what he's done with my characters.
Okay. Coke, or Koak, I never quite figured out how to pronounce that, K-O-A-K, wants to know, which fanfic story would probably be the one that took the shortest amount of time to write?
That would probably be all the stories in the Red Aurora Chronicles. Like, once I finished the Second Chance series, that took a lot of time and effort and everything, and just once I was done with it, I wanted to do another series, but something that would it would just be like a fun thing to write, just something more relaxing that I could put out. So all those stories are definitely a lot shorter, and probably the second one, Shade Story, Wolfskin, I'd probably take the shortest amount of time, but it was fun writing them.
Okay. I'm just curious, why did you stop writing Balto fanfics?
That's a hard question. I had been writing fanfiction for 3 or 4 years then, and I felt like I needed to branch out a bit more. By that time, I knew I wanted to turn the writing into a career and be an author someday. And I kind of see the Balto fanfiction as kind of my, like, training camp for my work right now, because currently I'm working on a novel. And I knew back then that I couldn't write Balto fanfiction forever. I mean, it was fun doing it, and I met so many great people, and it gave, like, all the comments I got gave me the encouragement and the inspiration to go on and write my own stuff.
Would you then say that you view Balto fanfiction as practice leading up to real writing?
Yeah, I'd say so. That seems pretty accurate. Just, I spent so much time writing Balto fanfiction that my writing's probably at a level that it wouldn't be at it if I hadn't written for Balto Central and Balto Source.
Which of the characters that you made up is your favorite?
I like all of them, I have to say.
I was gonna say, with a silence that long, it's gotta be a whole lot.
My favorite, I think, again, would have to be Destiny. I love her, she's funny, she's And I didn't even plan on creating her, actually. Just after I did a Mew's tale, it was like, well, what do I do with this other character that I just kind of left hanging out in the open? So, and after I started writing her story, she was just so unique, and I don't usually do first-person perspective, so that really let me get into her head and everything. And it was just, I clicked with her, and I loved the character, I loved her personality, and I really enjoyed writing the story, so I'd say she'd have to be my favorite.
Okay, just a little randomly here. Dakota's Gift was the first fanfic that I read. It was on the suggestion of Dragon Tamer for fanfics that we would review on Sourcecast, and we did review it.
Yeah.
I think it's episode 9. Yeah, episode 9, so if you want to hear that sometime. Speaking of Dakota's Gift, absolutely love that fanfic, great job.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder, what gives you the ideas for all of your stories? I mean, do you just bring them up out of the blue, or are they inspired by something? Are they a tip of the hat to something?
I try to fill in the gaps that the stories have left. Like, we have the 3 Balto movies, and the first one does a great job with the story and everything. The second one and third ones are okay. But there's always questions left, like, how did the other pups feel about Balto and Alu? And obviously they had this special relationship since Alu was more wolf-like, and that led to, like, Dakota's Gift and all those other ones. And, like, what would happen if Balto and Jenna had another litter, which that was the inspiration for the Second Chance series. Just little bits like that, like what if, or like I wonder what happened in their past, so that was the inspiration for like Secret of the Past and the Orange Bandana and all that.
Now, here's something that might take you a little while to explain. How do you name all your characters?
Naming them that's probably one of the hardest parts, actually. Sometimes I just throw in a name that just, first one that pops into my head, and if it works, it stays, and if it doesn't, I'll rename them at the end of a fanfic. But I like to have the names to have meaning, so as I'm writing the story, I'm thinking over the name, and like for a Second Chance series, it took me a really long time to name all the pups, because I wanted every one of them to have a specific name that I really liked and really had meaning behind it.
Okay, in the editing process of your stories, I take it you have edited them from one time or another before you actually posted them.
Just a bit.
In the editing processes, have you ever had to take out scenes that you felt were unnecessary but you really liked anyway? Or have you basically just kept everything that you liked?
For the most part, the stories seem to write themselves. Like, I can't think of a story where I had to take out a whole scene. I mean, maybe I crossed out a couple lines of like cheesy dialogue or something that really didn't work, or maybe like a description that didn't work, but whole scene, I don't think so. I usually outline it before I start writing, so I usually know what's going to happen, and every scene kind of leads into the next one, so I usually don't have to take anything out like that.
Imagine we'd like to know, are you currently writing anything new on any subjects? Oh man, that'll take forever.
That was the one with the longest answer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can shorten this. Okay, I'm currently writing a novel about cataphiles, which are these people who live under Paris, like, they'll stay under the city for days at a time. It's like, for people, they'll party, they'll go cave diving, they'll paint down there. It's crazy, but it's like an accepted recreation, even though it's a little weird. And my book is about what would happen if I just took 2 people and put them down there and and they got to see the whole lifestyle of the cataphiles. Like, what would happen if they meet and if they both become cataphiles, and like what kind of mindset you'd have to be in to like live like this for some of the time.
Sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll be sure to buy that when it comes out. I feel like I'm repeating myself for some reason.
Oh yeah, some reason. Am I giving you a signed copy?
Dragon Tamer wants to know, you mentioned college in the shout box. What will you be studying?
I will be majoring in English, which is no surprise, and hopefully I'll try to get into publishing somehow and maybe find like a writing society or something that'll help me with my writing while I'm in college.
So like a writers group?
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe they'll have like a literary magazine I can write for, because I'll be taking a lot of English classes obviously because of my major, but I would also like to do my own creative writing out of class.
Okay. So I take it you are going into college this year?
Yes, I am.
That's awesome. It's fun, believe me. Much better than high school.
Hopefully.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
You can take my word for it. And if it's not, then you can find me $1 million.
I will remember that. We have that recorded, right?
We do.
All right.
And it'll be published for everyone here.
All right, I'll hold you to it.
Okay. Seattle would like to know, what is your favorite fanfic? And I would like to ask, what was your favorite to write, and what was your favorite to actually what was your favorite period, writing or otherwise?
My favorite to write would have to be my last one, Masquerade. So it was just, it wasn't darker, I think it was just more mature themes. The plot kind of just wrote itself, which is nice when that happens. And I just wanted to really finish my time on the site with something really different, something I'd never done before, and it seemed to work, so that was my favorite to write, I guess. And my favorite overall I think it would have to be the entire Second Chance series. I don't really have a favorite one. It was, maybe the finale, just because it wrapped everything up, and it was just nice seeing the characters go off and have their own lives after that. But yeah, the series was great to write, and it was probably my favorite overall.
Dang. Did you have fun writing these?
It's always fun to write. Sometimes it's a struggle. I think Copper's story took me 8 months to write. I couldn't get the right plot line for him. But it's always interesting, as I never know what's going to happen. I plan it out beforehand, and then I kind of go with the basic idea, but I never know details. I don't know what's going to happen in the characters' mindsets, if they're going to change their mind, what kind of dialogue I'm going to put in. So it's always interesting to see what I'm going to write. I love it. It's so interesting to see what other people do with the characters. I mean, I'm not on the site anymore, so just to see them still living on in other people's work is great. Just especially Dragon Tamer, he does such a great job with it, and especially with the audio drama coming up, I just can't believe the characters have come as far as they have. But it's just great to see it, and as long as they ask permission beforehand to use them, I really don't mind if they use them or not.
You were saying that you decided to choose names that had special meaning to you. Would you mind giving us some of the meanings of some of the characters that you named?
Well, sometimes I just like to have a little bit of fun with the names, just to keep myself amused while I'm writing it. When I first created the Second Chance litter, the first one I created was Chase, actually. And I gave her that name, Chase, and then I thought, wait, what if she couldn't actually run? So that's how the whole idea for the crippled leg came up, and that was her challenge to get through. And then naming her future mate Catch just made it awesome to me.
Firefox9702 wants to know, what is a good fanfic in your eyes?
Good fanfic.
What makes a good fanfic, I guess?
A good fanfic is where you can connect to the character's emotions. You really feel a part of the story. And nothing feels forced, nothing feels artificial. It flows seamlessly, and you just feel drawn into the plot. You can just disappear in the story. On all the characters, the emotions feel real. You feel like you're really there watching them play it out. And when it ends, you don't want it to end, and it's a great experience.
Are there any real-life stories that inspire situations in your fanfics?
I draw everything from my daily life. I can't really think of anything specific, though, but just the whole, relationships with the family, that was just me trying to figure out what was going on with some of my family issues. Nothing big, just, sibling rivalry and everything. That was a big part of most of my fanfics.
How do you develop your stories? Do you organize your ideas and glue them together, or do you just improvise them?
I usually outline before I start a story. I have a basic idea and I kind of sketch it out. I do I'll draw a circle and write whatever I want to happen in the beginning and just keep going with the chain from there. And usually that's how I know where the story's going, and then if I want to change anything, I can keep it in the confines of the basic idea. But I don't think I've only ever tried improvising once, and that was on Dakota's Gift, I think. And after a while, I just had to stop and map everything out because I just had too many ideas at once, and I had to make sure I got all of them to make the story work.
Do you ever put hidden messages in your stories that, like, aren't right there on the surface, but if you take a closer look, you would see them? Do you ever do that?
Hidden messages? Like,
say, somebody says a line or phrase, and that's something that you personally believe yourself, and you're just trying to make it so that they say it in passing or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Now that you explained it, yeah, I'm pretty guilty of that. Most of my characters have my beliefs. Like, I make the villains think differently, but for the most part, my characters share my same ideas, my same beliefs. I guess I'm using them to communicate it.
And now, I guess, diverging away from your Balto fanfics, have you ever written fanfiction for any other stories or series or anything?
No, not really. I mean, I've been on a couple, like, fanfiction sites for maybe, I think, Narnia a couple years ago. I can't quite remember, it's been a while, but no, I always stuck with Balto.
Okay, Dragon Tamer you mentioned some time ago that you were leaving fanfic writing for pursuing professional efforts. Any word on that? I guess we already answered that.
Well, actually, I have been self-published, if that has anything to do with this. I've published more like an anthology of some of my work for the past year. It's on lulu.com. It's where you can self-publish yourself, and it was for an assignment for an English class, but it's called Unmasked. And
let me look that up right now. I want to look that up.
But yeah, it's essays, it's poems, it's like a short mystery I wrote, and then it has, at the very end, it has the beginning of the novel I'm working on, the one about the cataphiles.
Okay, what's this called?
Unmasked.
Unmasked. On Lulu. Paperback for $6.02.
Yep.
That's it. So, just so everyone knows, it is the top result. That's a nice picture, too.
Thank you.
You're self-published, and you have... I guess that would be a great way for people to look at some of the work that you've been involved in outside of Balto.
Yeah, that would probably be my work in the past year or so.
What would you say is the biggest inspiration for your writing?
My biggest inspiration? It just, I can get inspiration from anywhere. Like, it's just things from daily life, things I read about in books. I mean, it's all over the place, even like names for places. Like, I got the name for Windsong Valley in one of the Red Aurora Chronicles books. I got that from like a street sign. Like, it just, wherever you look, you can find stuff to put into the novels.
Okay. I guess final question would be more personal ones. What are your biggest interests?
My biggest interest obviously writing. I've been writing since I was in 4th grade, and hopefully I'll never stop. Probably music would be the second one. I've been playing flute since 2nd grade, I've been in the choir. It's something I really love to do, and I don't think I'm ever gonna do anything with it, but it's fun, and I just love it.
Do you have a favorite author?
I have a lot of favorite authors. It'd be hard to narrow it down, but right now I'd say probably my favorite author would be Gaston Leroux, because I'm currently a little bit obsessed with Phantom of the Opera.
Just wrote Phantom of the Opera, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Any other... what else has he written?
He's more of a mystery writer, and it's pretty old. Like, Phantom came out in 1911, so of course the rest of the books are out of print, but he wrote, like, Mystery of the Yellow Room, which had a great, like, twist ending, and just stuff like that. He's probably my favorite, like, older author.
That may actually be everything.
Wow, that didn't take long at all.
Shorter than usual, believe it or not. Yeah, that's everything.
Oh, alright.
So, before we wrap it up, do you have anything else that you would like to add before you leave?
I would just like to thank Dragon Tamer for all his support. Like, even when I wasn't on the site, he'd recommend my stories, he would just totally be my unofficial, like, promotion team, and I just have to thank him for that. Even when I'm not there, oh man, he's great.
Takes home place that's soft and still, where the road waits to be taken, if you only will. The voices